All right, Encounter Church, hope that you're having a great day. I'm Joe, location pastor at Fulton Heights, coming to you live from the news desk at Kentwood. We've got a lot of great things to cover this evening. Glad that you guys are joining us. I'm so excited to talk about Love Where We Live tonight. We're going to kind of unveil that whole program, the philosophy and hope behind it, how as a church we're being involved in organizations in Grand Rapids. So we're going to talk about all that, and just want to invite you, feel free to comment, ask questions. I've got Tim here with me. He'll be shouting stuff out if I miss anything, but yeah, super excited. Before we jump into Love Where We Live, want to remind you that this week our lead team approved our reopening plan. We are so excited. You guys, I can't tell you how antsy we've been for the last couple months. We're so very much looking forward to being able to gather again in person, and we will be doing that starting March 7th. Back here at Kentwood for 2 experiences, March 7th, in person, social distancing, mask, registration, all that stuff the way we were doing before, but we are very much looking forward to being in person again soon. So that's something we don't want you to forget about. If you want to join us, you'll be able to register the Monday before. Also, we would love to have you jump on the team. Production, next gen, kids, there's all sorts of different areas, guest experience that you can help volunteer and serve and be a part of our team as we care for people that are joining us for church. We'd love to answer any questions that you have about that. If you're interested, you can even comment right now and we'll get back to you. Okay, so what we've been waiting for, I want to talk about Love Where We Live. I've been here on staff as a pastor for just a few months, and it was one of the first questions I had is, what is this value that we talk about, we love where we live? And I love that it's kind of built in to the DNA of our church. And it's actually kind of like a campaign that you were invited to be a part of. A few months back, you were invited to nominate organizations in Grand Rapids that are doing great work to make this city better and stronger. Organizations that are caring for the needs of others, that are highlighting great ministries or great need in the city and meeting those needs. And so about 14 of you nominated organizations throughout the city. And we're going to walk through kind of how we built relationships with those organizations, how we selected those organizations. But the big kind of boil it down definition of Love Where We Live is an opportunity for us to give generously, to donate and contribute, to support and partner with organizations throughout Grand Rapids that are doing great work. So we looked at this bulk of nominations that you submitted. We called several of them. We talked to other leaders. We met as a leadership team, and we ended up selecting 4 organizations that we are going to contribute to their work in the city. It was a pretty fun process, and a couple things that guided that kind of selection process I want you to be aware of. As our Fulton Heights location opens, hopefully in the next few months, closer probably to fall, but more likely as a video site coming up in the next couple months, we're new to the city. We're new to that area. But we know that there are organizations in that neighborhood and in that community that have been doing great work for months and years. And we didn't want to just come into the neighborhood and, as the new guy on the block, just pretend that now ministry will start happening. We know that that's not true. We also want to be a good neighbor. We want to build a relationship of trust and capital throughout the neighborhood. And we thought that one great way to do that would be to partner and support some great organizations. So one of the kind of selection criteria that we used was organizations that are within like the footprint of the Fulton Heights neighborhood. So that was something that was really important to me and to our selection team as we started to look through some of these nominations that you sent in. And the 4 organizations you'll see are very close in proximity to the new Fulton Heights location. You know, another thing that we did take into consideration was the hope that over time we can build a long-term partnership with these organizations, that as a church we can serve together side by side. that we can send volunteer teams, that we can care for their leaders or care for the people that they care for in partnership. And as our desire to be great neighbors, that would be something that could happen as well. And so while that's not a criteria or like an expectation as we give to these organizations, it's kind of a hope that we have that something might develop more long term. And so let me kind of cut to it. We picked 4 organizations. I want to walk through those, tell you a little bit about why we chose them, why we're excited about them. And if you have any questions, you can shout those out to us in the comments. The first organization that we selected is just down the street from Fulton Heights location, and that is William C. Abney Academy. The project that we are hoping to contribute to at William C. Abney is to create a family, is to help support school supplies. COVID has taken a pretty significant toll, and William C. Abney is a charter school, and almost 100% of the student body is on reduced or free lunches, and so we wanted to help support the families of that school by just helping to provide a lot of school supplies that some of the families aren't able to purchase for their students. So just today, I was actually able to swing by and over the last couple weeks have built a relationship with some of the staff there. Jill LeBlanc is a teacher and a staff member at the school, and we've been talking and looking for ways that we could help support them, and she suggested that. So today I was able to deliver a check for $5,000 for school supplies for William C. Abney, and they were thrilled, and I'm so excited for that. It's a great school close to Encounter Fulton Heights. So that's the first organization, William C. Abney Academy. We are contributing to school supplies for the school and for the families there. Second organization is just down the street from William C. Abney is another elementary school, Congress Elementary. You guys, over the last couple months, I've been fortunate to build a relationship with the principal there, Jennifer Williams. She's been there for a few years and has an incredible reputation already in her short time there for caring for students and families and investing in the neighborhood, which is exactly what we're all about. So as we've talked over the phone about needs that they have and ways that we can support them, she said, Joe, what's been difficult as we've had to make adjustments with COVID is all of our physical education and recess equipment is all had to be decentralized, and we're doing all of that stuff in each classroom. They have 10 classrooms at the school, and she said anything that you could do to help us provide recess and physical education equipment for each classroom would be a huge, huge help. So last week, I swung by the school, had about a half an hour tour with Mrs. Williams, and was able to present her with a check for $2,500 for physical education equipment, jump ropes, balls, all sorts of different things for the students at that school to have a better experience, and we're super excited. She's already looking for ways that we can bring volunteers in to help with mentoring and tutoring, to help support the teachers and the students there. So Congress Elementary, super excited about the potential for a long-term partnership there. Third organization, something that is really, really fun. Just down the block from Fulton Heights location is Temple Emmanuel, a Jewish synagogue that has been there for years. And previous folks, Adria and other leaders at Mayfair Church, which gave their building to Encounter, and several of the families from Mayfair will be a part of our church community. They built a relationship, a friendship with this synagogue, and that was something that was important to them. And as we move in, it's something that's important to us. So we've been in contact with the leadership, Catherine over there at the office, and even the last couple weeks I've been able to meet Rabbi Michael, and they've talked a lot about their commitment to the food bank that they run in the synagogue. And that's run by volunteers, and it started years ago to help support immigrant families that moved after the war. And it's still continuing today. And it's a monthly food bank that supports between 40 and 50 families. 2 weeks ago, I got to volunteer and go over and pack boxes that would be distributed to local families, and just believe that that is a really important ministry and a great way for us to support each other as neighbors. So last week, dropped off a check from you to Temple Emmanuel's food bank for $5,000 to support ongoing needs and purchasing of food and supplies for that ministry. Super excited about that. And then lastly, the fourth organization that you guys nominated, the one that we're really excited about, is Livingstone's Academy. Livingstone's Academy is an elementary school just down the street on Lyon from our Fulton Heights location. They've been there for several years, and it is an incredible elementary school focused on radical, what's the word, Tim?
Love,
Yes, inclusiveness, radical inclusiveness, diversity, and an unwavering commitment to Christ-like education. And we've just been really grateful to build a relationship with Aaron Winkle and the leadership over there. And the cool thing about Livingstone's is that it is built on an equitable tuition model, which means families pay what they can based on their income, and it doesn't matter if there's one student in their family or four. They pay what they can, and then Livingstone's has a commitment to raise the tuition for the remainder. And so on behalf of you, we were able to deliver a check for $10,000 for their tuition support and assistance fund that will go to support families in the area that are sending their kids to this incredible school. They are raising up great students into adults that's making this city better. And also, it should be noted, I also got to deliver a box of cupcakes for their staff, just saying, hey, we're for you. We want to partner with you. We want to champion the work that you're doing, and we're really, really grateful that for the last years, not only Livingstone's, but all four of these organizations have been contributing to make Fulton Heights area and Grand Rapids a great city. So those are the organizations. That's the process. Just a little bit more news over the next couple days. You're going to see some social posts with some videos and some pictures from each of those deliveries. Because of COVID, it got a little goofy, so we can't like show a ton, but we'll give you some more information on those, and then we're going to highlight some of the organizations a little more specifically. Want you to hear from some of the leaders, and hopefully over the next couple months you're going to hear some more stories about how your giving is making a difference. And that's something that I don't want you to overlook. You know, it was so fun to drive to these organizations and like set an appointment and say, hey, I want to bring by something from our church to you, and to be able to communicate that those checks, those letters, those gifts represent you. They represent the people in our church that are giving because you have a commitment to the city. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. The idea that when you give, it goes beyond these walls here at Kentwood and even beyond the walls at Fulton Heights. Like, your giving makes a difference in this community. And I think that's a really important thing. One, that you can have your confidence and trust in, but that you can be encouraged that as you give sacrificially, as you give obediently to what God's called you to, that you know that it's making a difference in these organizations. So I'm really excited about that. I want to thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for letting me represent you and represent the church in that. And I think it starts something really important in the neighborhood. I think it starts a belief and a trust that we're for the city and that we want to be there for the long haul. Man, so I'm so excited about it. I can't wait to give you more news and more stories about what God will continue to do. And again, this is really just the start of Love Where We Live. We are committed to give a portion of what we receive from offerings and tithes and from your giving, to continue to give that away, no strings attached, to organizations that are trusted in our community. So that's the Love Where We Live report. Tim, anything I'm missing on that?
So remind everybody where, for this first one, where that tithe came from for this first round.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That the Love Where We Live funds were earmarked out of the Further Faster campaign. That was a campaign that we began probably 4 months ago, primarily to raise funds to help remodel and get us going on the Fulton Heights location, but also set up some things here that would allow us to broadcast. And you guys showed up huge for that. Just incredible, faithful, committed giving. And while we're so glad that Fulton Heights project is like going so well, that the remodel's going well, that the painting's done, the carpet's done, like we are ready to open our doors as soon as our community is ready. But it went beyond that. It went beyond just making sure the building looks great, making sure that the cameras and the screens and the speakers are all set. It went to this Love Where We Live campaign. So I'm so proud of and grateful that our church has a commitment to not just taking care of ourselves, but modeling what Jesus told us and invited us to do, is to give, and to give generously. Hey, that's all I got. It's so good to be with you guys. Thank you for tuning in. More importantly, thank you for investing and committing to caring for our community, for living like Jesus in our city, and for loving where we live. I hope that you have a great night, a great weekend, and we'll see you this Sunday on our broadcast online experience from Encounter Church. See y'all.